Hello, I don't know if you heard that, but my phone started ringing and I've just this second put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And it wasn't even a phone number that I recognised. How does that work? Obviously not working. Alright, let me turn the sound off so I don't hear myself talking, because that's just weird. Good morning everybody who is in Australia. Good evening everybody who is in America. What time is it in the UK? Good middle of the night for people in the UK. I'm assuming you're catching this on the replay because you don't want to be up in the middle of the night watching me. Alright, who have we got here? Hey Trisha. Hey Kelly. Hey Essie. Hey Karen. Hope everybody's doing well today. This is the card that we're going to be doing today, but because it's me, I can't possibly just make it exactly the same. So we're going to change things up just a little bit. So I'm hoping everybody can find their way here. I'm hoping, now that I've had practice doing this a few times, that I'll be able to keep up with the comments, but no promises because it's really weird talking to a computer screen and having to read the comments. Yes, Trisha, I fully expect it was from some kind of scammer because I've been getting a lot of those recently. A lot of those. Hey, Holly, nice to see you. Alright, so, as I said, I'm going to be making this card, and as you can see, well, I hope you can see, this is an edge-to-edge shaker card. Now, I don't know which genius actually came up with this idea for making edge-to-edge shaker cards, but hey Lenny, oh, see you later, I'll catch you on the replay. Hey Melissa. Anyway, I don't know who came up with this idea of edge-to-edge shaker cards, but I first learnt it from our friend Lydia, and I am now absolutely hooked. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to show you all of these really fun shaker elements that I've got in here. I'm going to be using slightly different ones today because, as I said, I'm going to change it up. And because we have all of you here, I always like when, yeah, edge-to-edge shaker, they're really good fun, and you don't need any foam tape, which always makes me happy because whenever I use foam tape, I make a hash of it. So, yeah, not using foam tape is always good in my book. So, we're going to make this an interactive. Because I thought I'm going to change this up and do it slightly differently. For some absurd reason, I'm not really in a rainbow mood today. Yes, I am sick. I've got a bit of a headache, so obviously something is wrong with me if I'm not in the mood for a rainbow. But I thought, if I don't do a rainbow, I might actually change up the stencil that I use as well. So the stencil I used on this one is this one, which is called the Slimline Changes stencil, which I love. Hey Dawn, nice to see you. So I'm not going to use that one today, so let's put that one aside. And I pulled out this assortment of stencils, so I thought I would let you guys choose. So we have oh, Melissa, we're always in the mood for Wink of Stella. But we're going to add shine to this, don't you worry about that. So, I want you to have a vote. Right, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And depending on which one you choose, I've got a colour scheme figured out for which one you choose. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Write your vote. Write your number in the comments now. Okay, 1 vote for Slimline Waves, 1 vote for Slimline Triangles, or Triangle Peaks, I mean. 1 vote for 3, another vote for 4, so that's 2 votes for 4, 2 votes for 1. Any more votes? Another vote for 1. Alright, so far we've got 3 votes for 1, 1 vote for 3 and 2 votes for 4. I think we have to go with number 1. Okie doke. And this kind of makes me happy because the colour scheme that I have picked out for this one is this colour scheme. Because it's waves and it makes me think of water, and yeah, so I have to use prize ribbon, and that of course makes me happy because it's Michelle Blue. Of course it's going to make me happy. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is a piece of cardstock, and this piece of cardstock is cut from, it's cut to be the same size as a card front. Now, my cards are not the same size as everybody else's. They are the same sizes of a lot of people in Australia who use American-sized cardstock. My card bases are 5.5 by 4 1/8, not 4 1/4. So they've got a little bit sliced off the side. That's because I quite often use A4 cardstock, which is international standard size cardstock. But I also use Nina Solar White, which is US letter. So to a compromise, I chop a slice off so I can use both of them together. I'm not actually using any A4 card today, but all of my card bases are already cut. So we're cutting it down. That was, yeah, you didn't really need to know that, but I'm telling you anyway, because you might decide to do this yourself and go, oh, well, my stencil doesn't seem to fit the same way Michelle's stencil does. That would be why. Alright, so I'm going to pop that down. I'm trying to get it nice and straight. So there are going to be white bands on the edges, but I actually want that to be covered. So I'm just going to pull out some... This is just post-it tape, which I really need to get more of because this is my last roll, and my last roll is almost empty. I mean, I do reuse it. I've got some sort of sitting over here on a mug that gets reused over and over again. But I need more. Okay. So, I need to get out some life-changing blender brushes. And you can see I've labelled them appropriately. I'm going to just move this because the fact that it's crooked on my work surface is making my OCD-ness twitch. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to start with the Golden Child prize ribbon. And I've got my life-changing blender brush all labelled with their little elastics. Thank you, Nicole. And I'm just going to start. Now, I'm not going to do a really intense colour. The reason being is that I'm going to go pretty much with the same design. So I need a friendly paper hello stamp, which I'm going to stamp later on. I need that to be clearly legible, and if I stamp it black onto very, very dark blue, it's not going to be clearly legible. So I'm just keeping the blending a little bit lighter. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit darker at the bottom, but in general I'm going to keep it slightly lighter than I might want to. I'm also going to hold down, I haven't added pixie spray to this, and there's a reason for this, and Melissa knows the reason for this because I was talking to her about it yesterday. Melissa and I, who is a new member of Picket Studios community today, she is in a choir with me, but she's also a crafty person, so welcome to the group, Melissa. Anyway, I was talking to her about this issue that I had with using a stencil with pixie spray and then making it into a shaker card. So I'll explain it when I come to it. But yeah, haven't used pixie spray here at all. Alright, that'll do with that. Now on to Peacock Feathers, which I love. Just had a bit too much ink on that. Oh yeah, prize ribbon is getting a good workout in my craft room. Getting a good workout, I love it. So you can see the only thing that's actually moving on this is this little bit in here. So I'm just trying to be careful to sort of hold it down a little bit so I don't get fuzzy lines around that. The other ones are sort of held in place by the other bits that they're overlapping. Sort of, I love this stencil, by the way, because in a former life, for those of you who don't know, I used to teach biology at university. My background is genetics, and right here we have DNA, double-stranded DNA. So yeah, I quite like this stencil. I need a bit more colour here. Alright, sorry, I'm concentrating and not talking very much today. Alright, and the last colour I'm going to use the same brush, Salvage Patina, which is just a beautiful colour. Yeah, honestly, with this stencil, I'm always tempted to sort of draw in the little base pairs going across the DNA strands. I don't think Nicole had that in mind when she was designing this stencil. Oh yes, Instagram is an absolute rabbit hole. I can very easily spend hours just scrolling through Instagram. It's a fun place to be for card makers, I think. Alright, so probably because I've used the same brush for the Salvage Patina and the Peacock Feathers, they've come out really similar. So I'm going to go back in with a little bit in the Peacock Feathers just to deepen up this bit a little bit. Not a heap. Dawn, that's fine. Welcome. Nobody minds if you are late. Alright, I think that might do. Mainly because my arm is now tired. Does anybody else do that? It's like, yeah, I think I finished this card mainly because my arm is tired or my hands are tired. Oh yes, Melissa, yes, there are definitely wallet-based consequences for falling down rabbit holes. Alright, so, oh, look at that. Don't you just love the reveal when you get rid of a stencil and you're just left with that beautimus. Beautimus. Alright, just get rid of that bit of ink. And I've got blue fingers, but hey, green fingernails. Blue fingers and green fingernails. It's a look. It's a look. Alright, let me just, I've moved my craft mat over. I've actually got a new craft mat coming in the mail. Probably it'll arrive in March. But, yeah, Australia Post is what it is at the moment. Because I've basically, as you probably have known if you've seen me do my lives before, I basically work on my computer keyboard so I can see you guys in front of me, and I have a little bit of board here and then a non-stick craft mat over the top. I've actually got a craft mat, like a sturdy craft mat that I can just put on top of my computer screen. But it hasn't arrived yet, so we'll see. Yeah, Rhea, I think you need that stencil too. I think you do. I think there's lots of stencils. Yeah, that's the thing. Stencils are one of my favourite crafty things because two main reasons. Well, actually, multiple reasons. I'm not going to limit it to two. One, they're inexpensive. Hi, Nicole. Nice to see you. They are inexpensive, so really, really good. Two, they don't take up much space, and I don't have a heap of space in here. So things that don't take up very much space, always good in my book. And three, they're so versatile. They're so versatile. I mean, you can use them just for stenciling like this. You can spray through them. You can use paper glaze or paper glitz or paper glaze luxe through them. You can use them on a gel press. There's just so many different ways that you can use a stencil. They're brilliant. So yeah, just there you go. Get all the stencils. They're awesome. All right, so now I'm going to get out my sentiment. So this is one of the things that's going to be staying the same for this card. Now, big decision. Do I want the dark blue at the top or the dark blue at the bottom? I think dark blue at the bottom. It just looks, the dark blue looks heavy compared to the lighter bluey green. So, it goes to the bottom. That's my logic. It's not really very good logic, but hey, I'm sticking to it. Okay. Ooh. A little bit of crud on there. Let me get rid of that before I... That's better. Yes, ordering stuff from the US. I always have to be careful with what I'm going to order because I try not to order things from the US very often because it's not cheapest. Sorry, I know my head's getting in the way, but I'm trying to make sure I line it up properly. Okay. Hi Denise, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Alright, have I missed... Alright, Melissa, if I'm just starting to build my collection, should I start with stencils or background stamps? Personally, if you're just starting, I would start with some stencils because, as I said, they're very versatile. And I mean, you can still do things with stencils like I could have put down my stencil and then got out my Versamark ink and just squished the ink pad all over the stencil and then taken off, and I could have heat embossed over the top of it because people think, oh, you can't heat emboss with a stencil. Yes, you can. So I would start with stencils mainly because they're, as I said before, inexpensive and don't take up much room if you're a brand new crafter. Of course, if there are background stamps that you see that you just absolutely love, nobody's going to stop you. One good thing about Picket Fence is that, I'll just try and find one. Nicole is a genius, but we already knew that. Where are they? She makes these seamless stamps, and which I can't find in my box right now. It's probably in the other box. Let me find. There's one. Just randomly pick a seamless stamp. And what you can do is stamp them side by side and top to bottom, and they line up. So you can make a background as big or as small as you like, but you've just bought a small stamp like this, which is less expensive. So that's just genius. 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 All right. So back to my card. I am going to be using VersaFine Onyx Black ink for this particular stamp because, sorry, I've missed a whole lot of comments. Yep, stencils are more versatile, blah, 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 blah. Seamless stamps are amazing, yes. I'm going to be using VersaFine because I've inked with Distress Oxide, which do have pigment in them, and sometimes they can resist hybrid inks a little bit. So VersaFine Onyx Black is a pigment ink, and I find it stamps a little bit better over the top of Distress Oxides. I am going to go back to my Picket Fence Hybrid a bit later on in this card for some other stamping, but for this particular one, alright, so you can actually see it's even resisting this a little bit, so I'm going to go on with double stamping, which is of course the reason why I'm using my Misty, because the Misty is also genius. This Hello stamp is just adorable. I've this year and last year, I've been sending, the cards that I've been sending out the most are Hello stamps and Hugs stamps. And in this release, oops, I just got ink all over my hand. This is what you come to see. You come to see Michelle make a mess of herself. Last time it was spilling white embossing powder in my lap. Today it's getting black pigment ink all over my hand. At least the pigment ink washes off very easily. Anyway, what was I saying? In this release, we've got this, a friendly paper Hello, which is great. We've also got these Hugs enclosed, which I really, really love as well. So yeah, it just fits exactly the cards that I've been making this year. Alright, that's better. So I'm just going to give this, actually that's not, getting out my stamp scrubber. You can see my stamp scrubber has been very well used, but it's amazing how clean it will get your stamps. It gets into all the little nooks and crannies, and then I can just wipe over with a dry cloth and it's all ready to go. Alright, so that's done. Now, I had actually tossed up whether to use this stamp. Yes, and it cleans with no chemicals. That was just water that I sprayed on it. I just have water in this spray bottle and just sprayed the stamp scrubber with water. Fabulous. I had got out this stamp and I was thinking of doing it in the background, but I don't think I will. I think it's already a little bit busy with this. So I think I'll just leave that and not use that today. So now the next step, I might actually, while I've got my Misty out, I might stamp these little envelopes. So these envelopes are from this stamp set, which I just adore. Just adore. I mean, the sentiment, I'm not using any of the sentiments in this today, but I mean, this one, I made cards before card making was cool. That's just me all over. And stamping is a lifestyle choice. And do you want to come over and colour? And just everything, all the sentiments in this. I'm going to send a card to Lydia that says you are my crafty spirit animal, because it's just so perfect. Alright, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Put another piece of cardstock in. Doesn't matter what shape this particular piece of cardstock is, because I'm going to be cutting it down anyway. Alright, so I'm going to put that down, pick it up, and I'm using my Picket Fence Studios Black Hybrid ink pad. There we go, lovely. Yes, and I love big sentiments that can just carry a card. It's great. Alright, let me just, so that's at 4. Yep, that'll do. And then double stamp that. And one more. Excuse me sniffing, I've got a bit of hay fever at the moment. Lots of sneezing. Oh, I've got something. That one's a dud. Let's try that one again. I've got a bit of a splodge on there. You know what I think it is? A little while ago, very unlike me, I made a card with loose glitter on it, and this glitter just has been turning up all the time, and when it gets stuck on a stamp, it just ruins my stamping experience. So we'll stamp that one again. Okay, that's all right. Okay, I'll just give that a quick clean. That one doesn't have very many nooks and crannies in the stamp, so it's very quick to clean. Very easy. And now I'm going to pull out this little solid heart. And I'm just going to use an acrylic block. For this, I'm not going to bother with the Misty for this stamp. And I think, what colour do I want to use? I want to use, I think I might use a dye ink. Yeah, this one looks good. Ultra Pink from Hero Arts. Yes, Kelly, I made this card I used paper glaze through a stencil, through actually one of the stencils that I showed you just before, the plaid one, and then I just put glitter all over it, and oh, this glitter I'm finding everywhere. Alright, so I'm just going to line this up. 1, 2, and yeah, I love my Misty, but sometimes it's just quicker and easier to just use an acrylic block for something like this. Alright, now you might think that that looks a little bit, the pink looks a little bit blotchy, but this particular ink will smooth out over time as it sort of settles into the cardstock. So never fear. It's not an issue. Alright, so and this is the kind of stamp that you don't really need a die that matches it, because it's just a whole lot of straight lines. So it's really not difficult to fussy cut. So I'm just going to try and fussy cut this as quickly as I can, trying to make the border relatively uniform. If one crafter takes glitter project to a crafternoon, how many crafters take glitter home in a project? Every single one of them. Every single one. Yep. Hey Siamara, how you going? No worries about being late. You can always catch up on the replay. It's all good. We're making a shaker card today. And usually, I mean, up until a couple of months ago, I really shied away from shaker cards because they always took me forever to make, and I always made a mess. So yeah, I just sort of stayed away from them. But now they're easy. And I'll tell you of another way of doing this, but I haven't actually done it myself. I've just seen a crafty friend of mine do this. But when we come to do the shaker bit, I'll tell you about it. And you, yeah, you can keep the shaker cards with the foam tape, Kelly. They're all yours. I'm not good at them. I'm not good at them. Give me watercolor resist any day, but shaker cards, not so much. All right, so they're ready to go. So I have my background panel. I've got those, and they're going to be sort of sitting vaguely like that. But now we need to make the shaker. All right, let me just put this stamp back in its home. Oops. Don't you just love it when a stamp prefers to stick to your finger than to the backing sheet? Okay. So now we come to the shaker bit. And if you've never made an edge-to-edge shaker before, you may not have a collection like I do. And I've only since I've started doing edge-to-edge shakers have I actually got this collection. I have a collection, which I'll show you right now, of packaging from stamp sets and from dies and from, yeah, all sorts of things that have come. And I just hold on to this packaging because that's what we're actually going to be using for this shaker. So you don't need to use those sort of rigid-ish acetate sheets. I mean, you can if you want to, but not for this kind of shaker card. You need foldable plastic for this kind of shaker card. So we're going to fold it around the edge. So I'm just going to cut this down. So this is just one side of one of those pieces of packaging. And I need it to be, and of course it's going to be hard for you to see because it's see-through, but I'm just going to, I don't know how well you can see, I'm just going to cut it so that it's got leeway around each edge. Ooh. Yep, Dawn, well now you're going to be keeping all of your packaging so that you can, why? The sound keeps coming back on and confusing me. It's always very confusing hearing your own voice coming at you. That's not lined up with your actual voice. Alright, so I've just got bog standard double-sided tape here. I don't know what brand this is. I have had this for literally a decade. So yeah, no idea when I got it. Okay, so I'm going to just and you can see how easy this is because I'm not even using scissors. I'm just tearing it. Oh, hey Jen, I didn't see you there. Yes, and I am using so many more sequins now that I'm making these shaker cards. But oh, some of the sequins from this month's release at Picket Feathers. Oh, I'm going to be using 3 of the 4 of them today. So, be prepared. Okay, so I've just got that stuck down on 3 sides at the moment. Yeah, bog standard, yeah. Bog standard just means everyday, nothing special, boring, everyday double-sided tape. Nothing special about it. I don't even know the brand. Yeah, bog standard. Alright, so I'm just going to fold up the bottom edge. And it doesn't matter if this is the bottom or the top, honestly. I could be doing this in any direction whatsoever. Alright, I'm going to fold over this side. I'm going to fold over the other side. Now, at this point, I do have a little bit of an issue because I've got these little flappy bits on the corners. So I'm just going to snip them off. I'm just holding my scissors sort of flat, snip them off. They're going to get stuck down onto the card anyway. Alright, so now I have a pocket where I can put my sequins. Let's get rid of those little bits of packaging. Now, now comes the fun part. I'm just going to get out my little tray. And I've got these sequins. So, let me show you. Let me show you these sequins. Okay, so we have, and I'm going to use 3 of these 4. I'm not going to use this one. This one is on a wing, and it's got these beautiful little blue and grey feathers in them. So I'm not going to use that one today, but I am going to use bits and pieces of these 3. So because I'm going with the blue, I am going to use quite a few of these, which I haven't even opened yet. Oops, there we go. So they're all stuck up with sticky so that they don't leak out in transit. Okay, so that's one, and this one's not open either. This one I've already used. In the previous card, in the rainbow card, I used a combination of, oops, sorry, it's stuck to my fingers. So in my rainbow card, I used a combination of these ones, which are Crafty Friends, which I'll show you up close in a minute. And because it was a rainbow, I used this mix, which is actually called Rainbow. So I'm not going to use the rainbow ones today, even though I love them. But I am going to use the Crafty Friends. So we have I Heart Mail, we have Snail Mail, and we have Crafty Friends. Okay, yeah, no, the sticky that I just pulled off there, no sticky residue whatsoever. None at all. You can see nothing. So it's really, really good. Alright, so I'm going to use a good dash of them. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to be a bit picky about it because in this mix there's these little diamonds, and because this is a sort of a flat shaker, I don't want some of the sort of three-dimensional pieces in there. I want it to stay relatively flat, so I'm just getting rid of those. I learned this from experience because I made another card and then I went to put in an envelope. I thought, oh god, when this goes through the machines, it's just gonna just chomp it up. So yeah, I'd keep those particular bits of the mix for when you're making a traditional shaker card where you're actually using the foam tape. Alright, but look, I'm just going to stand up. Look at those little hearts! Aren't they the cutest? So there's this hot pink and blue. So hot pink's going to go with the pink that I stamped on the envelope. The blue, of course, is going to go with the background. There's also little pale pink, oops, I'm off the screen, pale pink ones. They're just so adorable. So adorable. Alright, so that's those. Then I'm going with some of the Crafty Friends. And again, I'm going to try and pick out the larger pieces, because in here there are sort of these little dewdrops and they're quite bulky, and there are little diamonds as well. I just want, well, I want the sequins, but what I really want is my favourite bit of this mix. Come on, focus on there. Focus. Why is it not focusing? There we go. Look at that. A teeny tiny little pair of scissors. And they're iridescent. They're like holographic. You can see the rainbow shining there. Come on, show. There we go. But they just the cutest thing. Perfect for a card for your crafty friends, which is what it's called. So I'm going to pop a few of them in. I'll try and pick out a few more. But I'll definitely be using up the rest of this mix with the more chunky bits if I make an actual more 3D shaker card. Just avoiding them for this shaker card because it's relatively flat shaker. Yes, the scissors. The scissors are the most adorable things. They are the most adorable. Does anybody else have this issue that sequins just stick to you more than they stick to anything else? Or am I just full of static electricity? I don't know. Alright, now the third mix that I'm going to use, I only want one particular thing out of it because the colour scheme is not really going to go with my card here, but one little bit certainly does go with my theme. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. Look at that! It's exactly the same as the stamp that I'm putting on the front of my shaker card. Oh my god. Isn't that just the most adorable? So, I'm just gonna try and see, no, it's sticking to me. And I know, I'm sorry, Nicole, that this kind of defeats the purpose of you actually creating a mix. I'm just picky. But, I mean, there are no rules. You can mix and match if you want. Can't you? Alright. That, I think, will do me. Ah, come off. They're white ones, they can go in. White one, go in. There we go. Alright, so now I've got my mix. In it goes. Now, ooh, that's a black sequin in there that I just caught. Don't know where it went. Just oh no, that's where it went onto my finger. Ah. Alright. Now, here comes the reason why I didn't use pixie spray. I made a card yesterday where I used a stencil and I used pixie spray to hold it down, and then I put the sequins in, and of course the sequins just stuck to the residue of the pixie spray all over. So it's a shaker card where the shaker elements don't really move very much. It still looks pretty, but it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a shaker card. So yeah, that's why I didn't use spray. Alright, I reckon that's enough. I don't think I need extra in there. I'm just looking at the ratio of scissors to envelopes and hearts and stuff. I reckon we're good. I reckon we're good. So now back over to the back. And some more double-sided tape. Fold it down. Same deal as before. I'm going to slice off the corner here and slice off the corner here. And oops, I just picked up my sequins and one of the containers wasn't closed. It's not alive with Michelle unless Michelle spills something everywhere. Is it? So you can't even see it because it's off screen, but it's alright. It's not too many and none of them got on the floor, so it's all good. Back in there. Okay, now it's closed. Good. So that is now done. Now I'm going to wonder where my card base went to. There we are. There's my card base. So I'm just going to pop that onto my card base. Now because this is slight, it's a little bit bowed, just because of the fact that there are sequins in there and it's wrapped with the plastic packaging. I'm going to pull out the Big Mama and glues, ATG gun, which I don't use very often. I use it when things are warped and I really want it to stick flat, or when things are a little bit 3D and I want them to stick flat. The reason I don't use it very often is this glue, which holds really, really well, but it's a bit unforgiving, so if you accidentally put things in the wrong spot, it's not moving. And me, I'm always getting things in the wrong spot, so I don't use it very often. Alright, so to line this up, I'm going to stand that up straight, put that up against my work surface nice and straight, and then I can just put my fingers on either side to line it up from left to right, and then just pop it into place, and there it's perfect. Okay, now I think I've missed quite a few comments here. Oh, I do have needle nose tweezers. I've got needle nose tweezers, and I've got one of those little picky tools. I just, yeah, because I was using so many different mixes, I just decided, yeah, fingers will do. Okay, yeah, those little trays are really handy, aren't they? I said that I would mention another way that some people make shaker cards. So, you know how people have these little plastic envelopes that they store their cards in? I don't know if you do it, but I do. I pop an envelope and my completed card into one of these plastic pockets. Anyway, for certain size cards, you can actually get plastic pockets that fit it pretty much perfectly. So instead of actually doing that thing of wrapping it around and sticking it on, you just pop it into the plastic pocket. So this one's obviously too big because there's way too much leeway on this side. But yeah, you can get plastic pockets in all sorts of different sizes. And the cool thing about that, which I've seen, who was it that I saw? It was, I think it was Ilda Diaz. She made one where the front of the card was acetate. So the whole front of the card was completely clear. Of course, you couldn't do that with this because you'd have glue holding the plastic in place. So yeah, that's a different way of doing it. Okay, so last thing to do. See how the envelopes match so perfectly? They're like, this one's a little envelope with the heart on the outside, and this one's an open envelope with the thing coming out, and oh, they're just so cute. So cute. Alright, so I reckon that's about right. So I am just going to use some liquid glue on them. Just hold that in place. Oops, I think I can feel it under there. I think there's a diamond under there. Oh well, if it's just one, I'll just have to deal with it, because it's not. I'm not going to be getting it out now. Alright, there we go. Okay. And I'm missing a whole lot of comments. I'm just catching up on the last 10 or so comments. Can't wait for December. I know, Nicole. Exactly. I know what's coming in December, and I'm super excited about it. Because it's going to make your shaker card construction. Yeah. I hope I didn't give too much away there, Nicole. But yeah, can't wait for December. It's going to be really cool. Alright, so there we go. 2 shaker cards. Different stencils in the background, different colour scheme, otherwise, and different shaker elements that I've got in there, but otherwise pretty much the same. Because, you know, I can't make 2 cards exactly the same, because that's just not me. Yeah, so give this method of making a shaker card a go. I'm not talking smack about your diamonds. I love your diamonds. It's just that they're a little bit too 3D. I love them. They're absolutely beautiful. It's just in this particular shaker card, it's not. Other ones do a better job, that's all. But I do love those diamonds. They're so pretty. They're so shiny. Alright, so thank you very, very much for watching. Now, sneak peek of tomorrow. Because when I woke up this morning, I was thinking, oh, I've got to do another live tomorrow. What on earth am I going to do tomorrow? I have no idea. And then Nicole suggested that I pull out this stamp set. So this stamp set, and it comes with a matching die set as well, Winter Scene Building People. And if you look closely, yeah, exactly, Kelly. Australia Post will just destroy lots of things, sadly. They get squished in the machines. Anyway, these little people here can be used to build scenes. Now, there are background stamps that can go really, really well with these scene building people. There's one of like a row of houses. There's a few other different ones. But I thought, seeing as we've got these 2 stamps here, so this guy holding a Christmas tree over his back and these 2 people carrying a Christmas tree, I might try to make a scene of these people leaving a Christmas tree farm. And so I have this stencil, the slimline double Treeline stencil. You've seen me do videos on the Picket Fence YouTube channel using this stencil. There's also this one, Winter Forest Scenery stencil, that I thought I might use maybe. I haven't decided yet, so we'll come up with something tomorrow with these little cute people carrying Christmas trees, and there's a little guy dressed up as Santa, and there's people pulling a sled, and people out doing their shopping and walking their dog, and there's this other one which is more summery. It's like somebody riding their bike and people out for a walk eating ice cream, and this dude with his baguette in his shopping bag going and talking on his phone, and just all people out having fun in summertime. But there's the winter one as well. Now, of course, it is summertime where I am. Well, it's coming into summertime. Last few days haven't been very summery, but today is meant to be quite warm. But yeah, I'm going to make a wintry scene. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Now, I believe that people still have time to head over to the Picket Fence Studios YouTube channel and subscribe. Comment on Lisa's video where she went through the new release, because there are prizes to be won at the moment. So there are also prizes to be won from these lives, and Karen will be announcing them at the end, after the week of 7 in 7 videos, so stay tuned for that. The fact that you've all commented today means you're in with a chance of winning for that, so hooray for that. But yeah, thank you very much for spending 56 minutes with me this morning. But you can see, I mean, it didn't take me the whole 56 minutes to make that card. It was relatively quick. And for me with a shaker card, that is astounding, because usually shaker cards like take me 2 hours to make. So these edge-to-edge shaker cards are just genius. So, alright, so does anybody have any questions for me before I head off today and go and get myself some lunch? Because it's lunchtime here in Australia. Thank you, Essie, that's lovely of you to say. Alright, so I might head off, and hopefully you will be able to come back tomorrow and see me make some kind of scene with a Christmas trees and little people. Alright, thank you everybody. Bye.